Hi there, it's Nina from Monk.io. So, AI is now helping us to write code. Take the example of Reid Hoffman. He recently shared a LinkedIn clone he coded with just a few prompts. Well, this is pretty awesome. And shout out to Reid, who is one of our investors at Village Global. But writing code is not enough. We need to run it so people can use it. And running software is still very much human dependent. At Monk, we believe that if AI writes your code, AI should run it too. That's why we've built Monk. Monk is an AI DevOps agent that runs your code end-to-end in an autonomous way. Monk is more than an AI assistant or a copilot. Monk agent does all of the tasks that a human DevOps would typically do. Let's see it in action. For the demo, we've also built a clone of LinkedIn, but added some bots that simulate people using the platform. We used Lovable to build the front end, and GitHub Copilot to code our API server. We will need Auth0 to securely manage our user's identity, Redis for fast caching, and MongoDB to store our data. The bots are written in Python and will require an LLM, so we've chosen a self-hosted Ollama. Okay, so we now have all of this in our VS Code, and now what? How do we run it in production? We've asked GitHub Copilot to deploy it for us, but it informed us that it simply could not do that. And we've also asked Claude. It gave us a list of tasks and estimated 3 to 5 days of engineering work to get our application up and running. But what if Monk DevOps agent could do all of this for us in under 30 minutes with just a few prompts? Even better, what if it could estimate your cloud costs in real time and move your workloads from one cloud to another cloud with just a single prompt? Well, this is all now possible. Just install Monk extension in your VS Code, and then chat at Monk, run my project, and voila, watch Monk starting to analyze your code. On the left, you will see a board showing everything Monk is working on, like a teammate who does the tasks and updates the board as soon as those tasks are completed. Okay, awesome. Monk has now analyzed our project and detected our front end. It is now asking us if we want to deploy frontend to Netlify. I will say yes. You can see that Monk is smart enough to know that we might have multiple Netlify team accounts, and it asks which one to deploy to. Monk is now hard at work, rapidly executing tasks. It's working really fast because it's actually a multi-agent system where multiple agents are working together. You will see Monk agents fetching configs, preparing the frontend for Netlify, containerizing services, and setting up databases and the LLM. Monk has detected that our app needs Redis. Monk can configure and deploy Redis directly in any cloud for me, or provision a managed Redis instance via Redis Cloud. This applies to other components where Monk supports both self-hosted and managed service option. Let's go for a self-hosted version on GCP. Monk understands that Redis is used as cache in this context, so it will place it close to my API server to achieve the lowest latency. That's pretty smart. Monk now needs credentials for Netlify and GCP to deploy on our behalf. I already have an account with Netlify, so Monk will guide me through the Netlify authorization process. All I need to do is to approve this connection. Okay, so now Monk is requesting GCP credential, which I have here in a file. Rest assured, Monk securely saves these credentials with encryption and never sends them to the LLM. Monk is now requesting Auth0 credentials so it can create an application for our project. Instead of reading documentation and configuring everything manually, all I need to do is to provide my credentials and Monk will handle the rest. Monk is now creating our infrastructure on GCP, setting up the cluster, VMs, encrypted networking, secret storage, and security groups. See how it's automatically provisioning a GPU for Ollama, recognizing the specific hardware needs for the LLM. We can see new machines appearing in our GCP console. So yes, all of the things that Monk is showing us that it's doing are actually happening. You can see that Monk is adding a container registry to the cluster. This means that we don't need to manually set up a container registry before deployment, a task that normally takes a few hours. Monk is now deploying all of the components. The frontend goes to Netlify and the backend to our GCP cluster. You can see Monk has created a site in Netlify and an application in Auth0. It's now building the container images required for deployment and pushing those images to the registry. Monk is now starting all of the components and waiting for the deployment to complete. And boom, the deployment is now complete. We can now see our app in a browser. We are welcomed with Auth0 screen, which means that our authentication is properly configured. I will sign in with Google and set up my profile. And here we are in our app. I can browse the profile, see the bots posting and commenting, connect with others, create posts, like content, and add experiences. Everything is working perfectly. All of this from raw code to fully functional production environment in under 30 minutes. But that's not all. Let's ask Monk to do something really hard. Let's get back to VS Code and ask Monk about our infrastructure costs. Monk can calculate real-time costs and make predictions based on cloud account data. It's showing our total cost so far is 53 cents, with projected costs of around $470 per month. The main cost of it is the GPU on which Ollama is running. So I've just found out I had some free credits with Azure, so I would like to move my project there. Let's ask Monk to handle that migration. All we have to do is to provide Monk with Azure credentials the same way we've done with GCP. You can see resources are being created, IP addresses, virtual network, security groups, and VMs. This process typically takes around 15 minutes, so we will speed it up. Monk has now successfully expanded the cluster to Azure and now is transferring the workloads. Azure doesn't give us free credits for GPUs, so we left Ollama running on GCP. Let's verify that our application still works after the migration. Here we go. You can see everything is still running. We have our frontend in Netlify, backend spread across Azure and GCP. The application is functional, I'm receiving invitations, and can interact with all of the features. This is super exciting. Thank you, Monk. Okay, so to sum up, in less than 30 minutes and 3 prompts, Monk deployed our application to GCP and Netlify. In the next 30 minutes, it migrated our backend from one cloud to another. All we had to do is simply watch it do all the work. But Monk can do more. It can push updates, monitor, and manage your deployed applications, analyze logs, scale resources, and help you to debug issues. Monk runs any code written in any language, any framework, frontend or backend, simple or multi-service. It can configure over 200 different components, self-hosted software or third-party services like Auth0, run on major clouds, and selected specialized hosting providers. We are constantly adding new integrations and components, so if you don't see the one you want, just let us know. Monk is in open beta now. Try it for free for 7 days at monk.io and let us know how to improve it. It's 2025 and it's time for software not only write itself but also run itself.